What's up, guys? My name's Isaac, and today I'm going to be talking about why I think guitar players today still buy and play Gibson Les Pauls. Before we get started and further into this video, I just wanted to say that I have seen so many guitar players and just guitar player YouTubers talk about why you should not purchase a Gibson Les Paul. And a lot of their reasons that they give on why not to buy one, I do agree with. Like, I don't like that a person should pay, $3,000 for a guitar that doesn't stay in tune, a guitar that when you buy it, the paint isn't perfectly done, whether it be on the body, the neck, headstock, wherever. Maybe the nut wasn't placed right. Maybe there's cracks in the fretboard. I 100% think that this is inexcusable, but the sole purpose of this video is just to give a few reasons as to why people still purchase Gibsons, especially Gibson Les Pauls, especially, with the fact that, yes, Gibson is currently super inconsistent with their product, and with the fact that you could get a guitar at half the price of a Gibson, less than half the price of a Gibson Les Paul, and where the guitar stays in tune, the paint job is awesome on it. So without further ado, I just want to give my reasons as to why people still buy Gibson Les Pauls. Reason number one is simply the nostalgia. A lot of guitar players and guitarists here on YouTube have already said this. Yes, people want to get guitars that, well, their guitar heroes used, such as guitar heroes like Slash, Alex Lifeson, Joe Perry, and obviously Zakk Wylde, Randy Rhoads. All these guitar greats used Gibson Les Pauls, and yes, people want to buy the guitars that they used, even if it means not getting that exact guitar. Like people today, they're getting guitars mostly from Gibson Les Pauls made from the 2010s, maybe early 2000s, maybe late 90s. Yes, people like to get maybe birthier guitars, but they're not using the same Gibson Les Pauls that, were made in the 80s, 70s, 90s, right? But I do think that people still get them just from the fact that on the headstock it says Gibson and it says Gibson Les Paul. It could be like standard, studio. Just the fact that it said that the guitar is a Les Paul body shape. The second reason as to why I think people still buy Gibsons is, yes, the feel of them. Now, I'll talk about still the quality control here in this section, but the feel of a Gibson, in my opinion, there's nothing that feels quite like it. Like when I feel the neck of a Gibson Les Paul, I like the thickness of it. I like still just the way it plays, even if it's not necessarily as slick as, let's say, an ESP Eclipse guitar, right? One of those ESP LTD Eclipse guitars. But I feel like this is what gives the Gibson guitar its own distinct quality that, other guitars do not offer or attempt to offer. They do attempt to offer, but still are not matching it. Now, even if a guitar plays smoother than a Gibson Les Paul, maybe that is subjective as to how much better it plays than a Gibson. But there's always that feeling. If you've never played a Gibson, maybe sit down with one, for an hour or two, play a couple different Les Pauls, Gibson Les Pauls, and go ahead and start comparing from there and see what you think. Now, about the quality control, I wanted to go ahead and suit this in with the feel of it because I just wanted to say about how it's made, really. Like a lot of, let's say, an awesome made, I'm going to use again an ESP Eclipse guitar. Made awesome, right? The finish is great, fretboard's great, the nuts put on properly, right? Fantastic. But it's a thin neck shape. It's the thin body, which can be super comfortable. But like I was saying right now, just the feel, to me, in my opinion, a Gibson feels very much like a real instrument. Not saying that the ESP does not, because it plays awesome. but it's very niche, which is what's leading me to my next reason as to why people get Gibsons. The next reason is because of how it looks. I feel like, again, I'm just going to use the Eclipse as an example because it's has that very Les Paul body shape, as do other guitar brands. But they look like metal and hard rock guitars, whereas the Gibson looks like it could be for rock and roll, looks like it could be for jazz, it looks like it could be for pop, heavy metal. And that's one thing I do think that not a lot of guitar players, guitar YouTubers mention, is that yes, I feel like the aesthetic of the Gibson Les Paul suits many musical styles, like even jazz, right? Whereas I know, and a lot of people know and have already said it, you could technically play any musical style on any guitar, right? You can. But I personally am a believer that the way the guitar looks affects what it inspires for the player to play, right? So if I were to get, a one of those LTD Aero guitars, yeah, I'm gonna want to play some thrash on it, some shred, do a little bit of shredding on it, right? Some like Children of Bodom type style of guitar playing, right? But of course, if I just turn the amp on a clean channel, yeah, I could probably at least get some corny jazz tones out of it, right? But anyways, guys, those are the reasons as to why I think people do get the Gibson Les Paul guitars over other guitars, despite them being more expensive, despite having quality control issues. It's because it's still a different experience overall when playing one. Another thing I wanted to add about the feel and the looks to the guitar is like a lot of these guitars, new guitars, come out with 24 frets, whereas the Gibson still have 22, and that, at least for me, is a big deal because I personally do like that shorter scale length. Even though I do go into drop tunings quite often, I would say most of the time, but the fact that these other guitars don't offer that, I mean, I see why. It could be because, if they do that, it might start to look too close to a Gibson and not to their own brand. And I know that Gibson has been having quite a bit of trouble with other companies because of that, looking like their guitars that they like their since they are the ones who made the Les Paul body shape. But yeah, those were just my reasons, guys. I just made this video for fun. I just kind of wanted to gather my thoughts together, put it out there, see what you all think. Please leave in the comments about why you think people still buy and play Gibson Les Pauls. And thanks a lot, guys, and I hope to see you all in a future video. Thanks.